Şimdi rektörümüz Sayın Profesör Doktor Kürşat Aydoğan'ı kürsüye davet ediyorum.
Mr. Ambassador, Mr. Council, dear colleagues and guests, on behalf of Bilkent University, I want to extend our welcome to the 11th Tourism Forum held this year. So as always, we are honored to host this event, which brings together a diverse group of participants from the different parts of the sector. Now, the theme of this year's forum shows us how delicate the tourism industry is as a sector. So the key word here is diversification. So we know that the uncertainties about geopolitical situations and climate, environmental factors pose an important risk on tourism activities all over the world. So pandemic was a good example of what can happen in an industry. Of course, it affected almost all sectors of the economy, but tourism was one of the sectors which was highly influenced as a result of that. Now, diversification can provide some remedy against those risks that are faced by tourism. So the speakers before me have explained what diversification may entail in an extensive way. Now, at the business school, I teach finance and investments. So diversification is a term that I am very familiar with. So I teach my students as the core subject that they have to diversify their investments, meaning that they should not put all their eggs in the same basket. So this is more true in tourism than in any other field. But of course, I also teach them that diversification cannot solve all your problems. You are still subject to risk in this industry. Well, at Bilkent University, the program of tourism and hotel management is one of the earliest programs that was launched in the 80s. I know this because I was the founding chairman of the department back then in 1980s, yes. So at that time, of course, I am somebody who is from outside of the field, and in due time, I handed over the job to someone from the field who could do it much better than I do. But in the early days, we set up the program to answer for need for educated people in this area. Remember, that was a time when Turkey was launching a big effort of investments in tourism. So Mr. Ambassador has mentioned the state of SİDE, SİDE and how natural it was with its beaches, long beaches, and bed and breakfast facilities only. I remember those places at that time. And it was just the beginning of the transformation that you mentioned. And those hotels, those infrastructure needed people, trained people to run them. And our program was launched just at that time. So we were able to attract some very good talent in terms of educators and students. And we were a program that was providing the education in English. So that was very much needed in those years. So we were very popular. I remember we were very popular, and we were able to attract the good people. Now, of course, Turkey has come a long way in tourism since that period. And tourism industry is now a major income source, and the tourism contribution to Turkish GDP is significant, and we know how hurtful it can be during the times of crisis as we lived through the pandemic. Now, I believe that at Bilkent, we made our contribution to this development in this journey in tourism. So not only with our educating students for the industry, but the department has held seminars, conferences. The faculty members in the department engaged in research on tourism. So these all contributed to this development. So I hope that this forum will also be a step in this direction, and I wish you a very successful forum in the next hours. Thank you very much.